Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nano. It is the start of another nice week here at Gulfstream Park. Beautiful day in South Florida. Supposed to be warm this weekend, but no chances of rain, at least not today. It doesn't look like it. Fast, firm. We got the all-weather Tapita.
It's all happening. Welcome back, my friend. Good to have you back in the seat here as, we kick off another week here, 4-day race week in the Royal Palm Meet.
We got the Rainbow Six a little later on this afternoon, which will start in race number 3 with this 8-race card. And we have a $150,000 gross jackpot guaranteed pool. That's races 3 through 8 this afternoon. So nice weather. Got a couple of really good races on the card, including the first. And I know Brian put together an early pick 5 ticket. Let's check it out.
Take a look at it. Singling right off the rip here with number 7, Bally Baby. We'll talk about this race in a second. Then I've got 3 spreads built around the 2 singles. In race 2, number 1, Smoky Blues on top in the spread. In race 3, the spread lands on number 7, Cash in a Flash. First time gelding on the long return from Mark Cassie. The single in race 4, Merzaz, who I think will be a pretty short favorite in there. And then the biggest spread on the card for me is in race 5. Princess Lean is my long shot play of the day in there. First time Lasix on the drop in her return in a race where I thought was definitely eligible, Ron, for a price.
Couple of singles and lots of spreads in races 2, 3, and number 5. We'll see how that plays out here. Your course that you single currently up there at 8-5, but I did go with the number 5 in here, and that is Tag Her, who's the daughter of Uncle Mo. Debuts in the turf, going to cut back to 5 furlongs today after setting the pace and fading as the favorite. That was those 50 maiden optional claimers. That was going a mile 70 on the Tapita. Mark Cassie, MSCL Jaramillo handling the combo class drop surface switch.
Yeah, big time pedigree. A live oak homebred here, a daughter of Uncle Mo out of a street cry mare, but the money has shown in both of her starts. Hasn't really worked out. It's a positive that she's not in for a tag. That's very, very good. And I definitely think she's one of the ones in here. Second choice early as I look at the board with a lot to go here. But maybe it's the cutback. She did show speed and then tired last time. The debut, sprinting 6 on the main, was much, much better than last time. So maybe it'll all come together today, sprinting on the turf.
I think you got a stat for Mr. Mark Cassie?
Yeah, with this, we'll take a look at it here. And you can see 9 for 46, 20% in turf sprints at Gulfstream the past year. So that's definitely, Mark is a guy that fires in the teens. So this is a little bit better. And with Jaramillo here, I would think, and you see the debut where she chased, I would think he puts her in the race early, and we'll see what we get on the cutback.
The number 7, Bally Baby, who we mentioned, the 8-5, and who you have as a single, is dropping to the 40 level after tracking the pace, finishing 4th. It was maiden special weight competition. It was going 5 on the grass. Jose Pinch, you're going to team up with Lionel Reyes, outside draw this afternoon.
Yeah, and I like that outside draw. This is my best bet of the day, and the maiden special weight drop has got to play here. I mean, she's just faced much, much better in her 4 starts. You see Moofy and Comedic and Fawning. They did such good work over the course of the championship meet. Were well drawn, probably outside her main rival, and Tag Her has tactical speed to kind of press the issue from the outside as well. To me, it's all systems go for Bally Baby today.
And the number 3, Bree Hazel, a well-meant second at this level in distance. That was on the turf 2 starts back. Drops after chasing the pace and fading to finish 5th against special weight runners, going 5 on the Tapita. It's Antonio Sano, and he's going to go with the apprentice in here, Elsa Morrison, to handle the surface switch.
Yeah, and this is one of 2 4-year-old fillies in the race facing predominantly a group of 3-year-olds. Mike Welsh and I talked about this over the weekend. I think you would agree too, and you've even mentioned it before. This is still a little bit looking up at these 4-year-olds when you're a 3-year-old. You've got an experience and definitely a maturity disadvantage. So Bree Hazel, the thing is, Ronnie, 0 for 15. The losses are adding up.
Yeah, with the 3-year-olds facing older horses, I think when you get around June or something like that, it seems to be okay. But I always pay attention to that very early on. Second race this afternoon is about 5 1/2 furlongs on the Tapita. These are starter optional claimers, 4-year-olds and up started for 10 or less, or the optional tag of $20,000. 6 in the field in here, and you did go with the number 1, Smoky Blues.
Yeah, 9-2 on the morning line. Big time form at Presque Isle Downs, and we know the Presque Isle, that's a Tapita surface up there. I'm not familiar with this trainer, Cassandra Weaver, but she reaches out, for Edwin Gonzalez. And I think that definitely says to me intent. I've said it all along. I don't see anyone that riding this Tapeta better than Edwin from day one when we put it in here late in the summer, early in the fall. He's been on point, and I like the fact that the barn, which is new to South Florida here, reaches out for a big-time rider. We're tactical. We've got figures that match up with these. Let's just take a shot at what should be a little bit of a price.
A little bit of a price, but you go back and look 3-4 starts down, got that 89 buyer figure, and, on the all-weather surface, as you mentioned, up at Presque Isle. I did go with the 2 in here. Where's Joey's debuting on the all-weather after responding in that first race after the claim by Carlos David with a rousing 12-5 non-winners of 3 lifetime score. That was going 5.5 on the main track. MSCL Jaramillo handles the surface switch today. I was just enamored with that. I don't know about 8-5 in the morning line, but certainly a horse I think can run well.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I don't know if this horse is loose, but he'll definitely be inside speed. We're only going 5.5. Jaramillo likes to get involved early, and if this horse clears and nobody runs with him, he's going to be very, very tough to reel in.
Well, the number 3, Katie's Cowboy, is a 3-time winner on all-weather surfaces. I'm going to go back and show you this last race of hers, and that's we're going to show you back on March 3rd. You're going to see the start. You're going to see a couple of videos of the start. First, you're going to see here just, stumbles, get bopped around the old squeeze play there, and I just thought that, put her in a bad spot. I just wanted to show that angle again just to see where she ends up after that. So she's up against it right now, especially when you're going, on the Tapeta. Now we're going to show her in the stretch. I just thought she closes so strongly in here. Maybe the horses were tiring a little bit. They were doing all the dirty work on the front. She's not even in the picture now after that bad start, and she's just going to come flying through the stretch. She is the number 3. Oh, wait, there she is. So you'll see her coming flying at the end. And, I thought she might get there this day, and she just misses at the wire. So, and finishes second. So I thought with that bad start is something I wanted to show. Then I went with the 4 Poppy's Boys, who's moves to the Kelly Breen barn. After the claim, stalked the action, finished 6th against those claimers. That was on the turf. 5-year-old, 3 for 4 in the money on all-weather surface. Mr. Paco Lopez in the saddle.
You had to show that replay, right? That was my best bet of the day that day, and man, did he run huge. And Kent Sweezy's had a really, really good start to the meet as well. Back to Poppy's Boy. Kelly Breen off the claim, reaches out, and Paco gets aboard here. The guys that have teamed up to do really, really good work, about 20% overall together. And Kelly's pretty sharp off the claim, too. So, yeah, don't sleep on Poppy's Boy.
Now, what about that number 6, Uncle B?
Yeah, well, I just think he's in the right spot, pressing from the outside. Where's Joey on the inside speed? And he should be a square price as well, a little bit of a solid class drop, too.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. Quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back, Gulfstream today, Ron and Brian. And the third race will be a mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. Maiden optional claim is 3 and up, $40,000. Jockey change on the 3, make it hectabelos. Show you my ticket. We'll talk about this race in a couple of moments. $43.20 for me. Wanted to jump right back in the saddle with my normal $43.20. In race number 4, especially the 4 Merzaz, who I think is one of your singles, I'm definitely using, and the number 6 Mac in there. In race number 5, I went with my long shot in here is South Pacific. Goes to the Mary Epler barn. She's been doing okay with first off the claim. I thought maybe that one could jump up, claim from Safi, but we'll see how that one runs. Also used London Lady and Wit Liberty. In race number 6 this afternoon, I went with What's Going On, and who's the number 8, and the 4 Bunny Not Beast. And race number 7 today, I used the 3 and 4 Thing and Perfect Picture. Almost singled. I don't know if you used this horse in the last, but I thought it was the one to beat, and that's Sadie Bear. I thought it was the maiden one. I almost singled it and added a couple of more for my ticket, but I did not. So that's my ticket, $43.20. 20 cents, and once again, we got a $150,000 gross jackpot guarantee. Brian, I started it off with the number 4, and here's stat. Stretching out around 2 turns on the Tapeta, dropping to the 40 level after debuting locally for Safi, and finishing sort of a so-so fifth against 50 maiden. Optional claimers going 6th on the main track. The barn has been good with the Tapeta run. It's 24%. They're good with the stretch out move, over 20%. Lionel Reyes handling both karma changes this afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of this horse, Ron. I mean, there's a private purchase. Remember, Vive Bien was the other Safi private purchase in that race last time and just absolutely flew on the lead and was so good. This horse probably got fried a little bit chasing. I just didn't know what to make of him because he sprints 6 off that race, and then all of a sudden now we're 2 turns on the Tapeta. So I kind of faded him, but it's sappy, and you kind of go against him at your own risk.
The number 7 horse in your Cashing the Flash is a full brother to that first race choice. Tag Her returns from the lengthy layoff with the same trainer, Mark Cassie.
Yeah, I mean, Edwin's here on the Tapeta. You know how much I like that. First time gelding. The works are pretty solid as well. Mark's a very good 16% off the elongated layoff. You mentioned the pedigree here. There's no drop off the extended break. Gets to run here as a Florida bred without the tag. So I just kind of thought maybe he's ready to run here. 3 to 5 on debut, Ronnie, in a 7-horse field up at Woodbine on their Tapeta.
Back in 2020.
Back in 2020.
The number 2 Sunset Provision is dropping, stretching out, returning to the Tapeta after back-to-back second place finishes against 50 maiden optional claimers going 5 on the turf for Mr. Joe Orsino. Junior Alvarado winning races in bunches.
Yep.
He'll be in the saddle.
Yeah, and this horse makes a lot of sense and probably is going to be a strong favorite. I didn't necessarily trust him, but certainly you have to use him. You see all 3 of his lifetime races in the money, all 3, been with big figures, at least in the realm of this group here. And then Junior gets aboard. So no excuses today, I don't think, for Sunset Provision.
And what about the 5 Crooner in here? And that one, Gail Cox with Paco Lopez.
I thought this horse ran okay on debut, Ronnie. A little sneaky to 6 that day. 9 to 1 in a 10-horse field for a barn that, you know, doesn't typically take a lot of money down here with a first-time starter. Don't sleep on this horse at a square price. And now Paco rode that day. He's going to stick around, too. I think we're going to get a lot better on the stretch out.
So we'll see how that horse runs there. And you always got to look at Paco. He does a fantastic job here in South Florida. Race number 4 this afternoon. Gone to turf. Turf is firm. Mile into 16. Claimers 3-year-olds of 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 12-5 down to $10,000. 7 will go to the post. And there is no scratches or jockey changes to let you know about. And you have a ticket you put together.
Yeah, let's take a look at this late pick 5 for $48. Had to rework it a little bit because we'll get to race 7 with the key scratch of Tape to Tape, who was a single. I've got one here as well in Merzaz. We'll talk about it. The spreads are in race 5. I already mentioned it, and in race 6. Well, I haven't mentioned race 6 yet. Bunny Not Beast is the top pick there in a spread race. I went to the 2 punks in the 4 Thing, your buddy Thing, who's my top pick in that race, in race 7 with the scratch. And then in the finale, we go 3 deep with Gleaming Brutality. I think this is a race where a first-time starter is going to have a big chance, and that's Gleaming Brutality. Huge works for Steve Caceres.
Punks? You used punks? Yeah, I use punks on the ticket, too. I don't like that name, but what the heck. So now, going back to what started off with my top pick in here, and that's especially, and another horse that's in this race, Skywalking. I'm going to go back and pick these horses up at the top of the stretch to the wire. When especially gets up, you'll see, there you see especially, and there you see Skywalking back there, and especially top of the stretch. I just thought ran a really good race in there, wanted to go back and visit it. And, you know, she is the number 3 horse in there, and you just see this horse coming down, and she gets up, and I think she's going to win it here, but she gets caught, I think she gets caught late in that race, just, you know, at the end. And the number 1, the day that Skywalking comes flying at the end. I like the finish there, and especially was pretty good. She gets up to the next level for Danny Gargan, shifting to the turf. She defeated those pair of next out winners in the end. One of the next out winners was Skywalking, who came back and was very impressive in his victory last time.
Yeah, both of them, you know, definitely Skywalking, so it kind of flatters that race. I played against them a little bit, and you go against Danny, like we mentioned with Zappy. Danny had such a good championship meet, but I did play against this horse a little bit. Both of them on the rise. Both of them do make sense. Both of them also have to run better today.
The number 4, Mazaz, who you have on your ticket, I think single here, is
Single.
dropping to the 12-5 condition claimer. Faced tougher on the turf since defeating those 32 lifetime claimers. That was back here in February.
Yeah, and we've got a staff for Wansi, I believe. And this horse is just facing better horses, simply as that. And here's a kind of had to dig a little bit for this one, but 11 for 68, that's 16% with a big ROI in this kind of middle level claiming turf routes at Gulfstream the past 3 years. So the barn is kind of, moved up a little bit on that stat. And I just think, Ron, this class drop has got to play in here today, because you look at those races, Road to Meath, Yamato, we know how good he did over the course of the championship meet. Catch the Party was so good, 2 back. And then the last time, Tango, and Bryce Canyon, who I knew you liked a lot that day. Oh, boy, tough one there. I just think the overall body of work is better, and now he's with friends today that he's supposed to handle.
Well, we'll see how race 4. What else we got? What else you got? Anybody else you like?
Well, I mean, King Theo is down in there. Second off the long layoff. I actually fooled around with this horse last time. Didn't work out because his stablemate won the race. He's got to run better second off that elongated layoff. And you look at his back races against a month better than he faces here, they would squarely put him in the mix for Carlo Vaccarezza.
Yeah, his horses, he only started a few, and they've run okay at the meet, as you mentioned.
Absolutely.
The last one that won. Race number 5 today is 7 furlongs. These are maiden claiming filly 3-year-olds. 35 down to $35,000 exactly. Scratch the 10, scratch the number 11, so we have a field of 9. And you went with the number 7 in here, and that is Princess Lean.
I went 5 deep on my early 5, and I didn't have your 8, so I can't wait to hear about that one. Princess Lean was my long shot play of the day. I admittedly struggled to come up with one. It's a card where, I don't know if you want to get too crazy, but we had Lasix here. You know what I thought was interesting, Ron, for Juan Avila, who's, not a guy that's potent first-time starters. There were 11 horses in that race for $50,000 on November 20th. This horse was 6-1. So they like this horse a little bit. Now we've had some time off. We come back with the Lasix. We're dropping to 35. I think it's the right kind of race to maybe think outside the box, maybe look for a price. The dart landed on Princess Lean.
Yeah, my number 8 horse in here, South Pacific, so we got dual and long shots this afternoon. This one moves to the Mary Epler barn, and as I mentioned before, after that claim, she's done well with this and hopes to rebound at a price today after following that second place finish. That was her $35,000 career debut. That was for Todd Pletcher. Then comes back, stalks the pace, and fades to finish 5th. That was while in the Saffie Joseph Jr. barn. So Saffie jumped in and grabbed this horse from Todd Pletcher. And I just think the barn, 20% thereabout with new claims, with Paco Lopez in the saddle today. This horse seems to have, at least attract the attention of some people that they think this horse might be able to run well. And nobody scares me in this race.
You said it right there. Nobody should scare you in this race because they're all kind of lumped together. Get Paco, Mary Epler quietly 19% off the claim with an ROI approaching $3. So she does good work. Tough to improve off Todd and Saffie. But she's got something to work with, too. A lightly raced daughter, a practical joke that still has some upside.
And what about the number 9 Grandma's Pudding? My grandmother made good rice pudding, if I remember correctly. I think it was.
Well, Ralph Nix had a huge championship meet. Jaramillo is here. They're 19% with a positive ROI together. Another lightly raced horse. This one going to drop in class, too. And the winner last time was really, really good. So I think she comes out of the right race, as do London Lady and With Liberty coming out of that race, too.
I went with the number 1 in second, London Lady, who's dropping to the 35 level. She chased the winner last time out and finished second against this familiar competition. That was going 6.5 furlongs for Mr. Mike Trombetta. Edwin Gonzalez handling the stretch out to 7/8 of a mile. This horse did nothing wrong, just wasn't good enough to win it last time.
That's basically is perfectly put in there because the winner was so good last time. She beat all the rest. She's had her chances. She's tactical. Going to have to work out a little bit of a trip down here, but she's a must-use.
And, I just think these are the logical horses in there Grandma's putting in. To go 5 deep in there, it's not really handicapping, but, he puts good tickets together. I'm just teasing him. And I like to pick the winners of the race, but we'll see how it goes. 6th race this afternoon, 5 furlongs, Tapita. These are starter optional claimers. Phillies 3-year-olds started for 35 or less. The optional tag, 35. So these are all 3-year-olds facing each other today. You're going to see that a lot as the meet progresses, where pretty soon it's just going to be 3 and up all the time. And scratch the number 6, Yoga Queen. And you went with the number 4, Bunny. Nut Beast.
Yeah, I just think the class drop here faced a good group last time. Fire and Spice was so good on the Tapeta for Chris Davis. And so this horse comes out of a very, very good race, a very fast race for the level as well. Won on debut. Kelsey Danner gets Junior today. And, Junior, we're going to talk about this a lot because Junior's here with us this summer. It's great to have him. He's going to win a lot of races, and he's going to be in demand, too.
He actually beat the horse I put on top of my ticket, the 8. What's going on? Who's going to the Rohan Crichton. So right away you start looking around.
Pay attention.
Yeah. After the claim, drew clear on the Tapeta as the even money favorite to defeat the 35 maidens going 5 on the all-weather. This barn, 40% with new claims. Miguel Vasquez going for 2 in a row on this horse. And as I mentioned, Bunny Not Beast, who defeated this horse by a neck in her debut.
Yeah.
This horse has really progressed since then, and now comes off the big maiden win for a barn that's just redonkulous, we'll say it once again, off the claim.
Second time we've heard that, I believe, this year.
I wasn't going to use it again.
Out a little bit. But it applies to this because, as you mentioned, 40% with a 335 ROI. And he's got something to work with, too. A lightly raced daughter at Cantaros. She is going to face winners today. Going to have to move up off of Kent Sweezy. But, boy, this barn has been so good with these type of runners.
I want to go back and show you the performance, what happened to the number 1. I should put, I think it's Muguruza is how.
Muguruza.
Muguruza, how he was saying it. Yeah. And this one, hoping for clear sail. He's just going to pick it up here, and you can see the old big check in the stretch. And I just thought this horse for Victor Barboza, you're going to see it coming up very shortly. She's the number 2 that afternoon. And then you see just she gets checked out of the race. And, that's it. And you mentioned this a lot. Horses at this level, when they get stopped, to re-rally, it's tough for them to do it.
Do you know, I assume at least, you know who this horse is named after?
No, I did not.
2-time Grand Slam women's singles champion, Garbine Muguruza.
Oh, Garbine.
I would assume. It's not a very common name.
Yeah.
Won Wimbledon, won the French Open.
See that? He's a tennis geek, as you could know now.
How about that?
He is. He likes tennis and he bets tennis. I never met anyone before that bets tennis till I met him. So, because I gotta go rush home. They got the Swahili Open tonight. For tennis.
It is true.
It is true. I'm not making up. You mentioned earlier, big scratch. The only big scratch on the card today, the one tape to tape. So I had that one on top. I'm sure you did. And, just it looked like a hands down the one to beat in there. So I bumped up the number 4 horse in there, Ding. Ding is how we say it in New York. Now in the Tom Proctor barn, this gelded son of Frost that drops into this condition claimant today after facing tougher when sprinting on the grass. That was in Rusty Arnold's barn. The new connections, they got MSCL Jaramillo trying to reignite that back class. You got to get that back class going to run well in here. Yeah. I was struggling to put this horse in second, to be honest with you, when I had the number 1 on top.
I scratched into him as well, and the class drop is it's big here. And nobody was beating Saif at the championship meet. He was so good off that crazy long layoff for Mike Maker, and he was just freaking on the Tapeta and on the turf when he finally got to it. So I think Thing, he's got the speed to keep involved here, too. You look at the race last time, nobody's going 43 and 4 in this field today. So you look at that race 2 and 3 back where he was very, very close. I think that's going to play well here. And we know Jaramillo will put him in the game early, too.
So what'd you think when they were naming this? What are we going to name this thing? Is that what they said?
I thought maybe you named this horse.
The thing with the thing.
The thing with the thing.
The number 2 Punks, who I added. And you know what? This one is open to show more after returning from the layoff. Remember, it shipped in from Presque Isle. But it made that sort of nice middle move and weakened to finish 5th against those state-bred optional claimers, going 5 on the grass for Tim Gerton, Chantal in the saddle.
Yeah, and Katie's Cowboy runs earlier in the card, too, so take note of that. You can get a little gauge. Ghostliner came back to win, I believe, at 7-1 up the fence with Irad. Coming out of a good race, and doesn't he have to move forward off that race? This is now the second off a solid layoff, second time in the barn as well. I would think we get the best shot of Punks today.
And the number 3 perfect pitcher moves to the Elizabeth Doblesman and debuts on the turf. Showed some speed against that stalk close bias at the time on the Tapeta. You're talking about, we were joking, but with a limited sampling, Liz is 33% first off the claim.
It's a big, big number. Now, we got to improve up Marty Drexler. Easier said than done, but this horse has been bet every time. Stubbed his toe a little bit last time, but you look at the prior form, it's all right there. If she can get him back to that that. Yeah, he hits hard in here.
And Paco Lopez
Yep.
will be in the saddle today. Final race on the card is about 5.5 furlongs on the all-weather Tapeta Maiden Special Weight Fillies. We did have a scratch of the inside horse, the number 1, Freedom Speaks. And I went with the number 7 horse on top. We'll start it there. Well, I mentioned I thought was going to be the one to beat, and here he's going to the Tapeta after a pair of solid second-place sprinting against maiden special weight competition. That was on the main track. We're just going to show you this last race, albeit it's going to be on a different surface. But you're going to see Sadie Bear just blocked in on a turn. It's just a hard point, just the old squeeze play in there as they turn for home, and really finds that little bit of a seam now and closes. Just thought I wanted to show that performance. And Paco Lopez going to jump aboard today. I thought this horse now was 2-5 that day. Did the box in help this horse lose, or was it not good enough? Gets beat by a 7-1 shot there, and then Winky.
Well, you know what I think helped this horse lose is that Winky sizzle that day with Chantel and Jorge Delgado, I believe. And so, on face value, you say, oh, my goodness, horse lost at 2-5. You win at 2-5. No, I think you got to go back, and I'm glad we showed that replay because the winner was so good that day and is a very, very nice prospect. Now we've got David Fox on the Tapeta. We're going to show a stat for that, too, while we're at it, right? I mean, I think David is just prolific. 14 for 54, 26. Look at the ROI on Tapeta at Gulfstream. That's the whole broad sample right there. He knows what he's doing. He's had as good a feel for this surface as anybody since we unveiled it, and I think Sadie Bear is in a very, very good spot today.
The number 3, Gleaming Beauty, is the horse you were talking about. The first-time starter was the Daughter of Violence, debuting for Mr. Steve Clisaris, working up a storm.
Well, Steve's 0 for 15 on debut. I get it. So we want to check the tote board here when we get to race 8. She better be live because she's supposed to be. Because as you alluded to, those two works just absolutely jump off the page. I didn't see them. I don't know what we're going to get in the afternoon, but boy, she looks like she can run a little bit.
Well, she had that 3-furlong bullet on the dirt, then the half-mile drill on the Tapeta, so they tried her on the all-weather
46
surface.
and 2.
Yeah, so that's swift on that course. Angel Arroyo rides. I thought it was an intriguing first-time starter, certainly like you did.
Yeah, and Angel has did a very good job at the championship meet of putting horses in the race early. You see those 2 bullet works. I got to believe Gleaming Brutality has got some speed.
The number 5, Fulton Market, is going back to the all-weather surface after following that second-place finish on that surface with a set the pace and fade third behind. That was going 5 in the grass for Tom Proctor. He's got Emiciel Jaramillo handling that surface switch.
Yeah, no knocks on this one at all. I mean, she's run very, very well in her 4 starts, especially her last 2. She's got a lot of speed as well. We're getting the feel this finale here. Looks like it has a lot of speed. She would be no surprise.
And anybody else that jumps off the page on you as we wrap it up?
Republic, I guess we could say, for Sappy and Junior. And you think, okay, take note. But, Sappy's, I say, only 12% with first-time starters, about 31% with second-time starters. So I think if you're going to beat them, this is the type of spot. With that being said, there's a lot of solid works here. You look at that one at Palm Meadows on March 12th. And if this horse can settle a little bit, we've already talked about how much speed looks like there's in the nightcap.
Well, that's how we see this 8 rate cars this afternoon. And don't forget, we have the Super High Five, which carried over with over $10,000 in that pool. But we're not done. We got the lightning round.
Yeah, and first and foremost, tomorrow, Overlay City returns, and it will return for the last time. The Stronach 5 tomorrow, $1 minimum. 12% takeout, as our buddy announcer Pete likes to say, Overlay City. And he's coined a good one there because every single Friday, that's the case.
Mandatory payout.
Yeah,
That's the big point there. Mandatory payout. So even 4 out of 5, whatever it is, pays out. It's the best time to bet that. So that will be Friday. Mandatory payout.
Yeah, and then, it's very early in the Royal Palm meet, obviously, but I wanted to show the trainer and jockeys especially, but we'll take a look at the trainer. No surprise that Sappy's off to a hot start, but Kent Sweezy is off to a very, very good start as well. And then, the gang's all here. Eddie Plesa Jr., Mark Cassie, Carlos David. These are the names we're going to see on a day-in and day-out basis.
Yeah, I mean, those are the guys right there in the top 5 that you're going to see all summer long. Of course, Eddie does an excellent job. And Kent had a really good, always has a good summer meet here.
Yeah, for now, and he's off to a very, very good start, sending out a lot of live horses. So just take note of that. And the jockeys especially because, there's some moving and shaking going on. Junior, as we mentioned, is going to be here all summer long. That's great to see. Emiciel Edwin on top as well. And then I know Miguel Vasquez is going to make some waves here too.
Absolutely, and we did some checking. Ed Garzaez, of course, a perennial leading jockey during the summer meet. He'll be back in May. Had that shoulder operation.
Yeah, which is going to be great to see because we missed him throughout the championship meet, and he was really firing on all cylinders when he had to have that operation. But I'm sure he'll be back better than ever, and we're looking forward to him. I don't know about these guys competing against him because he's going to win a lot of races here.
Oh, absolutely. Excellent riding, and more importantly, an excellent kid.
Yeah, good
so
kid.
A really good kid. So that's how we see the early action here. We've got about 28 minutes to post. We'll turn it over to Pete Aiello. And as I mentioned when I was jumping the gun, the Super High Five, over $10,000 already in that pool. And the Pick 5, $30,000. So if you're interested in the Super High Five, this is the time to play it. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.